And welcome back. We're picking where we left off last time in Never in Second Rome, where we just finished the first training portion. So off to our first battle. We move on. So as we move on, our administration gets converted in Caesar's opinion, the other duty gets converted in Caesar's opinion. So in this case, we went ahead and got plus 10 Caesar's opinion, which is offsetting the fact that we were minus 5. So we're back to neutral. Trouble is brewing in the west. On the plateau, beyond the northern Alps, live the Helvetii, a Gaelic people, one of the strongest. The harsh Jura Mountains separate them from most of the other Gauls, and the River Rhine from the Germanic peoples. They have decided to make your time more interesting by abandoning their land and moving into the vast infertile plains between that of the Rhone and the Garn. Rhone, part of the large independent region that your people call Gallia. On top of that, they have convinced several neighboring tribes to join them on their venture. Of the two routes available, the easier by far passes right through Gallia Transalpina, a Roman province, and one under the responsibility of the new proconsul. Caesar has just arrived from there, where he met with the ambassador of the Helvetii. They asked for free passage, but despite the reassurances that they would not cause damage, Caesar stalled and then denied their request. The region suffered an uprising only a few years ago, and although the situation is under control now, the passage of the Helvetii could spark a disaster. To complicate matters, there is only one legion stationed in Gallia Transalpina. The rest, including yours, are wintering near Aquileia, hundreds of miles to the east of the crisis. When the talks were still underway, Caesar ordered the destruction of the bridge at Geneva, the city close to Helvetii, and the building of a ditch and earthwork walls. The single legion had no hopes to stop the Helvetii in their pitched battle, but with the help of these obstacles, their passage could be impeded. After unfruitfully probing at the defenses, the moving host had but no choice to opt for the other, more difficult road passing through the Jura and the River Rhone. On the surface, this should have settled things, but such situations are never so simple. If there was uncertainty about the Helveti's unfriendliness before, they will surely be hostile from now on. After what transpired at the border, if they reached their destination, there would be a powerful enemy occupying the plains to the north of a province that already lives in a precarious balance. It is easy to guess what happens next. Caesar is here at Aquileia to take control of his remaining 5 legions, cross the Alps again, and intercept the Helvetii before they can complete their plan. The new route will take them through the territory of Sequane, another of the numerous independent Gallic tribes that live to the north of lands controlled by Rome. They will have to negotiate their passage. At least, this will buy you some time. Your soldiers nervously prepare to leave the camp under your supervision. They weren't expecting to go on campaign so soon after joining the army. The orders will travel light, to march quickly as possible. As Aquileia slowly disappears from the horizon, you silently meditate about what is waiting at the end of the long road ahead of you. So it's giving us some hints about, yep, things we do might not always go successfully. The crossing of the Po Valley is fast, easy. But now that we've reached the Alps, barbarian tribes with no liking for Roman trespassers live here, and will do their best to make your trip as miserable as possible. We have to build a fortified camp to spend the night here. Century is made of young and inexperienced soldiers, and although not much is expected of them yet, they will have to do their part. So this is one of the mechanics. This is the construction mechanic. So in this case, we're technically building camp. Century is assigned to simple tasks during the construction of the camp. So we can either push our men to work faster, which will lower their opinion of us, or we can strive for quality, which will, if we can do some quality, improve Caesar's opinion. And we do want to finish ahead of time, because that also raises Caesar's opinion. Current production status of the building is worked here. Green slice corresponds to the standard production expected at the end of the current turn. A further slice is the bonus production, which only applies to the engineering rolled against a difficulty 50 succeeds. This bonus is proportional to the engineering and discipline. If the work is not completed before the end of the turn, we'll suffer opinion to Caesar's opinion. Penalty gets heavier the farther you are from completion. If the work is completed before reaching the last turn, we get a small bonus for each turn spared. If the work is completed just in time, you can neither get penalties nor rewards. Quality here, any degree of quality, superior quality is great. We get a superior opinion, but only if the work is completed on time. So we don't want to delay and be late if we're going for quality. So I think we'll... At the moment, I don't necessarily have great opinions of the troops, so I don't necessarily want to push the troops to work faster. We'll go normal speed until we're close to done, and then we'll probably swap over to superior quality. Failed the roll. No success there. Successful roll there, so we got some speed buff there. And so on and so forth. Okay, so we're at the point where we can finish at any point. We'll swap over, we'll do a little bit of superior quality, and then we'll go ahead and finish on time. So because of a little bit of superior quality, we've gained some opinion, we've gained some potential engineering. The crossing goes on. These mountain roads are treacherous, and the locals, the Centrons, the Gallicelli and the Catarigs, never miss an opportunity to harass us. Several times units from 3 more experienced legions have to engage them to fend off an ambush or to repel an attempt to block our path. This afternoon, we're accompanying the sentry to collect wood. Your perimeter is surrounded by elements of the 7th who are performing the same tasks. You're approaching a laser crew when suddenly you're interrupted by a cry of alarm to your left. We are under attack. Your men are too experienced to throw into the fray. They should form for battle, but stay back in reserve. Wait is safer. So I can remain with the troops at the back, let soldiers of the 7th deal with the ambush, or tell our Opto to stay with the troops, and while we go alone to help the front lines. I, from experience, know we can go running off to fight and get some valor. I'm going to do what we're really supposed to do, which is we're supposed to be commander this time. We're going to do our job and actually command the troops. In a matter of minutes, reinforcements arrive and the ambushes are quickly dispersed. So that was an opportunity for us to gain some personal valor, which we've just skipped. With so little training, the journey through the Alps is being especially demanding on our troops. On our soldiers. Combative supports are converted into everyday morale and ratio 4-1. Check, lead them through the old year. So it's a charisma intellect check. We succeed because we picked a charismatic person, so we have enough charisma to succeed on this check. You play on their friendly rivalry with your twin legion, the 12th. They do not want to look weak besides their peers. The leadership and example provided by the 3 elder legions help restore their confidence. So we've gained some extra discipline from succeeding on this check, and gained some potential discipline as well. On the 7th day, since we entered these accursed mountains, we finally emerge in the territory of Galla Transalpina. Here you join the legion that Caesar left to garrison the border. Now you are at full strength. See the proconsul talking to a stern-looking senior officer. He must be Titus Labienus, the legate who was left in charge of the troops stationed here. Caesar and Labienus go back a few years, or so we're told. Lingering fatigue is greatly reduced for everyone, barring the effects of strain. So we didn't end up straining our troops out, so we just lost any fatigue that we gained, which we hadn't actually in this case. The Helvetii have not been idling during the time it took you to come all the way from here, Relia. They have crossed the lands of the Sequani and are moving through the area controlled by the neighbors, the Aedui. Tribe in a very friendly terms with Rome. When the emissary of the Aedui reaches your camp, rumors spread that they have come to ask for your help. The Helvetii are pillaging their fields and they lack the means to defend themselves. There is no time to waste, and very soon you pass over the Rhone and press on outside the territory of the province. Scouts report the Helvetii have been crossing the Saône, tributary of the Rhone, up north, with improvised rafts and boats for 20 days. About 1/4 of the people are still stuck on this side of the river. Caesar resolves to take 3 of the experienced legions and moves at quick pace to catch them by surprise. Messages that come back from the battleground talk of a one-sided massacre. Busy as they were crossing the river, the Helvetii were totally unprepared for the battle. Now Caesar intends to build a bridge to get out of the Saône as quickly as possible, keep the pressure up on the bulk of the enemy forces on the other side. So we can say, our engineers can't be trusted, but if anything, I think we're decent at engineering. Right? That's one of our strong suits. Or send our engineers help. We'll send them to try help. And as I said, we were decent at engineering, so we just about succeeded at the check. Maybe they weren't as good as I was hoping. But we did succeed, so we gained a little bit of more potential engineering, and we gained more action points. Engineers do well for raw recruits, and their help is appreciated. It takes our army only 1 day to cross the river. With you is a force of 4,000 horsemen recruited amongst the locals and the nearby Gallic tribes, including the Ardouani. The Helvetii are very close now, close enough that they send a delegation to talk, but the confrontation has gone too far, and neither Caesar nor their leaders seemed interested in a peaceful solution. The next day, the Helvetii resume their journey. When the proconsul sends the cavalry to follow them closely, the enemy manages to ambush them and drive them off with a much smaller force. This is bad. They will get bolder. For 15 days, you follow them at a reasonable distance, never getting closer than 5 or 6 miles. You don't see much. Your legion is kept from the most dangerous positions. You have to stop often, they tell you. The Helvetii's rearguard has taken a liking to provoking your column to fight. Caesar refuses a direct clash for now, contenting himself with preventing foraging parties from leaving the safety of the hostile convoy. You still haven't figured the proconsul out, but at least he's smart enough not to engage an enemy on their own terms. The Aedui were supposed to supply you with grain, but for some reason they are delaying. Perhaps not all of them on our side. Perhaps some fear that your help will come at a price, and they would rather live under the yoke of other Gauls than that of the Romans. There are meetings between Caesar and some leaders of your allies, but very little transpires. You're only 18 miles from Bibarcte, the largest city of the Aeduini. The commander decides to stop following the enemy. The new priority is the Reese city and uses this opportunity to stock up on food before resuming the chase. It's not long before you are informed that the Helvetii have turned around to pursue you. You must interpret your sudden change of course as a sign of fear. The cavalry is sent to engage their vanguard to buy time. Caesar is seen dismounting along with all his closest officers. The horses are taken away. Today, the proconsul will share the same dangers as his army. If the fight goes wrong, his fate will be no different than ours. The legions and the 12th are ordered. The legion and the 12th are ordered to make a move up to a nearby hill to guard the baggage. Auxiliary light infantry is with us. The remaining 4 legions form up on the field below, disposed in 3 lines. The mass moving against them is impressive. During the last few weeks, you've heard a lot about the Helvetii, of how their warfare skills were constantly honed by their continual conflicts with the Germani. Javelins from the first line create gaps in the enemy phalanx, but the struggle hangs in the balance. The clash is even more brutal than you expected. From your vantage point, you have a clear view, and you can barely contain your nervousness. It is a torment to watch the battle unfold as you stand there doing nothing. When things seem to take a turn for the better, and the Helvetii start retreating towards a nearby mount, about a mile from the battleground, their rearguard emerges in the distance and threatens your open flank. The third line of your army is hastily rearranged to stop them. The battle keeps going on 2 fronts. It's almost sunset when the enemy starts to buckle under the constant pressure. Part of them retire towards the mountain, the rest towards their wagons. There they will make one last stand. Your cohort and a few others directed away from the hill to control some possible escape routes. You're placed to guard a difficult pass. Anyone who tried to break through here would be a serious disadvantage. You wait. The sky is darkening, and it is getting cold. When you spot a disarrayed group of spearmen approaching, they are still far, and the light is not ideal. But they do not look like battle-hardened veterans. They carry small shields, light infantry then. At any rate, you better not underestimate them. These people are taught to fight from a very young age and are always dangerous. They are definitely coming in your direction. You must fight. You glance back, your men look tense but not scared. The vantage point gives them confidence just as well, because you do not think they would be ready to fight on equal terms. Do we want the gods' favor in the impending battle? Yes. Cheap sacrifice, a sacrifice, an expensive sacrifice. Or we can select a altar to the gods. We're not going to do an altar to the gods because I don't think we've got quite enough the money. I might splurge. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and splurge, and we're going to do an expensive sacrifice. Century, you lead only a small section of tactical unit called a cohort. Your cohort faces an enemy formation of roughly similar size. Often tens of cohorts are deployed on the battlefield. Your main objective in battle is to achieve the primary goal in the eyes of your superiors. It represents a realistic expectation of what your sentry should manage to accomplish. Perhaps sometimes you might be able to do more. Nobody expects you to flatten every enemy you face. So our goal here is we're expected to get their cohesion below 1350 or less by the end of the fight. And ideally, in addition to that, our cohesion should be higher than theirs. So we should be winning, and their cohesion should be meet below a certain level. And right now, we meet the second, we don't meet the first, right? So the enemy cohesion is too high. So we're on the approach. For the moment, we're in the front, which is where we want to be. As the two sides get closer and your men prepare the javelins to command, the enemy will likely do the same. So we can act in, or we can throw normally, or you can act in advance. So if we act in advance, our benefit over the enemy gets less bad. Javelin skill, ground factor. We act in advance. Javelin skill. Oh, because of our int and awareness, we get a bonus. But the other guy's int and awareness gets a little bit of bonus as well. So yeah, let's do this. We've got int and awareness that's giving us a bonus here, so we'll act in advance using our good skill. We try to act in advance and surprise the enemy. We have a failure. Sentry attacks with hail and missiles. The missiles do prove somewhat effective, and we do some damage. Of which, one kill was infected with some damage. They're returning to fire. They successfully hit us. No kills, though. Anyway, let's for the moment commit to a... Well, actually, we're in a seize the initiative phase, so let's go in a little bit fierce. Tries to seize the initiative and fails. I'm taking some damage for that. A couple of opportunities where threat rolls were made, but no kills were sustained. So we didn't lose anyone, which is good. We're going to commit back to Steadfast. Flash capacity measures, combat skills replaced with one that emphasizes strength and constitution. Formation death is superior to the others. The modifier based on death bonus is added. There'll be no individual conflicts. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and go into shield push. Can. No. Can't do that. Okay, so we can either do extra momentum. Gain 4 momentum rolls into 3. Okay, we're just going to continue from here. And we can see that one of our notable people has been involved in a brief fight. Okay, so we have the high ground. And we were attacked. Okay. So we can take a defensive focus, an offensive focus, or continue having a balanced focused. Let's try to take a offensive focus. We failed to do that. Let's go in for feint. Just a simple feint. Successfully misled. No real damage to the enemy's stance. Looks like simple fate is probably our best roll. So our guy was expected to do some level of commitment to the fight. He did manage to meet his minimum commitment, so he's not going to look like he's a coward, at least. Whether or not we kill is well, to be fair, it's unlikely. He's got to kill him in 5 turns, and he's not that good. Okay, so we just had our first fight. One of our important people, who has pretty much managed to at least not get themselves killed. Which, I suppose in a way, is very important. But at the same time, bit of a marginal victory here, right? Yes, he performed admirably, but didn't manage to do any damage. Oh, and we got our other notable person is engaged in a battle. Close in. Let's try to go in for an offensive focus. Actually manages to get the offensive focus off. That's great to see. Okay, so our guy has performed as is expected. Hasn't successfully done anything, but that's because our guys are not necessarily expected to do very much in these short fights. Anyway, we're basically on the last turn, so we're going to send them in to do some strikes, or at least try to do some strikes. Inconsequential fight. At least he didn't get injured. Okay, the other guy's on Steadfast. So we can now use the size and strength of our formation in a shield push, which gives us a significant comparison advantage over a lot of the other options we have. So let's go shield pushing. Let's push him down the hill. Actually managed to do some damage there. Unlikely with a shield push that would actually kill anyone. So in this case, we're pretty unbalanced. Granted, they're unbalanced. Let's try to balance the formation by bringing it to a cautious positioning. Okay, that helped. And then we went ahead and disengaged, which brings it back out. Brief Respite reduces fatigue for everyone. Front is restored to the maximum available, allowed by the cohesion. The first line has been routed. Recent rotation bonus is granted for the next phase. Threat roll and kill rolls for the next melee. Rotations have a cohesion cost that ranges from 1 to 30. Higher the discipline, the lower cost. Formation cannot rotate if cohesion is below 100 at the end of a melee phase. So if we were, in theory, to drop players below 100, they would not rotate and be hammered by it. We can recompact, store as a part of the lost cohesion. We can encourage, which is what I think it's defaulted to. Or encourage a individual. Okay, I'm apparently clicking on it, it just does it. So we've attempted to recompact the troops. Base amounts 20 to 45. With Optio, plus 4 below max. Cohesion restored 53. So there we go. They've gone for trying to encourage their troops. We'll see the initiative of the steadfast approach. We failed to gain the initiative. We're both in steadfast, so let's go ahead and once again try to apply with the weight of our unit, which is stronger than theirs. So we can see they're starting to gain quite a bit of fatigue. Tiers: fatigued, tired, exhausted, collapsing. So they're fatigued. We have the high ground. They have a polearm front defense. However, if their front drops below 150, they'll lose that bonus. If it drops below 300, they lose the bonus. If it drops below 150, they'll suffer double the basic advantage modifier. So if we can, we want to break their front down below 300. So then they lost the polearm front defense bonus. Could be a little bit more vulnerable to taking some damage. Nope, I've been involved in a brief fight. Okay, let's go into a little bit of a rapid advance. Coming straight for a bluff. So we can see as we go to the more advanced ones, our attack modifier is going down, and the resistance is going up, but in theory they get a bigger effect. Well, we'll try to go with the one that's more likely to succeed. Successful misled, but no real damage to the enemy's stance. Misled actually managed to beat his resistance and lowered his stance a little bit. Misled again. Failed to beat the stance. Okay, let's go for a straight knock. Managed to fail that. Just going for a blow. Actually managed to hit him. So, modest victory because we did some damage. And he had a modest defeat because he took damage. Coolio. I'm not too worried about the imbalance for the moment. Let's go into shield push and apply the weight of our formation upon theirs. So we've now hit, assuming the enemy doesn't get cohesion back, we've now hit the minimum cohesion, as is expected. Okay, let's try to take a cautious approach to keep the imbalance from not getting out of hand. Brief respite reduces everyone's fatigue. So we're going to recompact, or we can try to... Well, we can't do a general encourage. We'd have to encourage a very specific visible, so we'll go for the recompact. Break is lasting longer than expected. So we'll go for a second recompact, which will bring us back up to full cohesion. We attempt to engage them, get engaged. Once again, I think we're going to apply the weight of our unit to get the most effectiveness out of them. We are a deeper formation, so this is probably the best way for us to get a effective damage. Yeah, we're going from 36 to 16. Granted, they're getting a bonus, but we're getting a bigger bonus than their bonus by going to shield wall push, so... Okay, we've broken their whole arm defense again. Okay, they've got imbalance in the negative direction, so they got minus the clash capacity, minus the determination, minus cohesion at the end of each turn. We actually managed to kill one of them in that round. Okay, so they've dropped below. Couple attempts there where we could have killed someone, we didn't. They've dropped below 150, so they're actually taking double basic advantage modifier analysis. I think we want to go ahead and try to reorganize our line, so we're going to drop back to cautious. We disengaged. We'll go for a recompact. And yeah, we are definitely meeting our primary goal here, which is good to see. successfully seize the initiative. And yeah, we are still getting a bonus from going shield wall push, so we're going to do that. Oops, we're in the normal phase this time, which is fine. We've still got an advantage over them. Threat ball. Successfully killed another one of theirs. Another threat. Another kill. We're scoring a bunch of kills today. Scoring them in actual troop capacity, I suppose. Let's, we're getting a little bit fatigued, so let's actually drop back to the back of our formation. And then we're going to swap into shield wall push and just try to hammer this formation. Yes, we're unbalanced, but I think we're in a state where we can put a lot of damage on the enemy at this point. Because their front's collapsing. Scored another kill. Scored another kill. And the cohort's disengaging, but let's push our advantage while we still have it. Scoring another kill. Enemy disengage. So, battle assessment. Cohesion, the enemy must be below 1350 or less at the end of the fight. I think 412 is below 1350. Our cohesion must be higher at the enemies. Our cohesion's almost full. We have gone far beyond the primary goal. Caesar is happy, and we have gained quite a bit of valor in doing that. The attackers withdraw egg diffusion and disperse. Not unsurprisingly, we mauled them pretty badly in that fight. It is night when the fighting at the wagons is over. The remaining enemies surrender and are captured. Although many thousands have escaped, it is not yet time to give chase. You remain at the battle site for 3 days, take care of the wounded, and to bury the dead. As the loot of the battle is gathered, you have a chance to snatch a beautiful golden torque. So I can break the rules and sell it for later, or we can maintain our integrity and pass. We pass. Gain this +1 to integrity. On the 4th day, resume the pursuit. The survivors have fled to the north, but the battle cost them their precious supplies and they're too desperate to keep struggling. Their envoys meet your column halfway, offering an unconditional surrender. The Helvetii accept to return their own settlements to the east beyond the Jura, hand over their weapons and a consistent number of hostages to ensure compliance. The former title of the Helvetii must not remain empty. Should the dreaded Germani from across the Rhine decide to occupy it. If that happened, the safety of the Transalpine province would be compromised. And we've kept our vow we made before the battle, gained plus 100 AP, lost 500 Sesterci. Combat points are converted to everyday morale at the ratio of 4 to 1. So, that's good. Lingering fatigue is greatly reduced for everyone, barring the effects of strain. Of the other tribes that have accompanied Helvetii on their invasion, only the Boii are allowed to remain in Gallia. They are part of the rearguard of the enemy convoy and fought the most valiantly. The Aedui have offered to take them in and give them fields to cultivate. As for you, it seems you will stay on this side of the Alps for a while. Caesar receives delegations from the many free tribes of the central Gallia. They have come to thank him for dealing with the invasion that threatened their people. But there is more to it. There's speculation that a great assembly has been called for, but you have no idea of the reason. It's no use trying to pry information on the tribunes. They are tight-lipped on this matter. We received our share of the loot, which gave us 500 Sesterci. Thanks to your recent command experience, you've gained additional points to spend on potential skills and base attributes. 2 extra points because of all the primary goals we reached. So we got 3 points to spend. Let's do Charisma, Intellect, and Bravery. We are a commander after all. The experience gains from the recent event are essentially as a reuse of skill points on their potential skills and base attributes. Discipline, Sword, Shield, Javelin, Bravery. Just gonna apply this across the board. Now, here we are at the beginning of the second training portion. And based on the time, this is where I'm going to go ahead and put the part break in. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will be another part up tomorrow. I'm going to try to record 3 more parts tonight. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I can take a short break and then get right back to recording. So until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.